And now you do the
Hello,
countdown randomly.
and welcome to Fable 42, where we're building a community through friendship, gaming, and of course, that sweet, sweet chaos. I and shenanigans. I am Colin, or Family Fantasy RPG. I'm going to go through quick announcements before we jump into our sponsorship. One announcement one. My self plug for now. I have a new PDF out for my kids' game, Fairies of the Mistblade. It's called the Bullywug Bullies. Of course, it has some fun art of frog bullies down at the pond. So check it out. Two, we are going to do a push for YouTube. We'll talk more about YouTube during our announcements, but the goal is 1K YouTube subscribers. When we do that, we're going to hold a big giveaway, a big, maybe even multi-winner giveaway, something. But the winners will be, the requirement will be that you have to be a YouTube subscriber. And then three, we are here now, right here, right now. But next week we will not be. We're taking next week off for April. There's several of us that are traveling and have obligations. But wait, is Envy? You're there. I just turned you off, didn't I? Man, sorry. It took me so long. You're here. Hey, look, he's here. That's my fault, guys.
He was gone?
He wasn't here last week, so I turned his
Oh,
camera.
yes.
Yeah, so yeah. Blah 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 blah. So next week, though, on Wednesday, we are going to drop on YouTube, hint hint, the Dino Riders for the charity. So the little one shot we did with my Dino Riders game with Eric Bra and some of you guys, right?
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
That was a lot of fun. So it'll be on YouTube. So if you want something to watch on Wednesday night, we are not here next week. Check that one out. Okay, that's it from me. Now is from you.
And our
Oh,
sponsors.
hey.
Oh, hey.
Sponsors. So, first up, Griffin Co. Longtime sponsor of the channel. Go check them out, griffinco.com. They make lots of things. And I mean lots of things. You want 3D printed like terrain or little creatures? They got that. You want like geeky little gifts to give away? They got that too. Lots of things. Dice tray, storage. Just go look. Wonderful. Use the code FABLED42 with it to purchase. And when you do, you get 20% off of it. So yeah, go check them out. And do we have things set up for like Exploration Point Critical and giveaway stuff?
Yeah.
I
Yeah?
did
that.
You sound confident about that, don't you?
Wait.
Sorry.
Yes. No, it is. He's all good.
Got excited there about the giveaways.
There's Griffin, and then what? The what giveaway? What?
What?
So,
I was asking if
Keep
Griffin
going.
Co. is doing the mid.
Yes, the halftime. Halftime
Okay.
is Griffin Co.
Cool. So
cool.
yeah, you'll get something from them. Don't know what it is, but it's something. So exclamation point critical. Assuming Colin turned it on.
I did it. I understand and I appreciate you making sure it's on.
Okay, good. So.
I feel like I'm playing double dutch right now. Like I'm like, when do I jump in? I'm not sure. So, if you are interested in creating some fun time with your friends and you don't have an hour to 5 every week to get together because life be busy sometimes, that's okay, because our friends at Underground Oracle understand, and they have created some really lovely materials for you to use for one-offs. So they have Cypher Shorts, which are fantasy shorts. They're special one-shot adventures for you to play with your friends for, 3 to 4 hours, once every so often when you actually can't get together. So check it out, undergroundoracle.com.
Let's be honest, like no one shot ever written actually lasts one night. Like it's like, unless the DM is really good at keeping everyone straight on the rails, but like one shots are hard, man. I think they're harder to plan. Like they're just as difficult to plan as like long campaigns because like
I can say that I have successfully kept 100% of my one shots to one night only as a one shot because I've only run one.
Okay.
The odds were in your favor.
I mean,
That's good.
Mine
That's
too,
good.
but mine ends with the rocks fall. You all die. So.
Also a good trick.
Yeah.
I think actually one of my favorite characters that I've ever played, Trixie, Yeah,
Yeah.
I played her in a one-shot.
Which did
Which I
not
would
last
like to-
one time. That was
Yeah, but I
definitely
want to do it again.
Exactly. We have that story to finish.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, but that was a 2-shot. So
It was
to be
a
fair,
No,
two-shot?
but I
it-
want another shot with.
No,
with
we're going
Trixie.
to. She's gonna come back.
But we haven't actually. That's why I did it in my head.
No. That's part 3 of the 2-shot.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
we really did 2, right? We did. I'm
Don't ask me.
90
I don't know. Clearly.
Yes, we did 2. We did 2. We did 2.
Wait, did we? I
too.
think
we did. We did. I am 98% sure now that it was 2.
Well, like I'm
Yeah.
93% sure that
While we figure
I
that
win.
out. While we figure that out, lovely viewers, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our next wonderful sponsor for the evening, which is 9 Realms Gaming. They hand make all of their products from natural woods to create quality and affordable gaming accessories for all. Go ahead and use promo code Fabled42 at checkout at 9realmsgaming.com to get 10% off your next purchase.
And up next is Critical Dice. Special thanks to our sponsor, Critical Dice. They have an amazing assortment of dice and even have a very popular dice subscription. I'm just realizing how many times I say dice in one sentence in this ad. They have a subscription service where it is very cheap to get dice delivered to your door every month. It is worth it. Stick around for your chance to win Critical Dice giveaway at the second half of our stream. And please note that our giveaways are for US and Canada only, excluding Quebec because of giveaway laws. And if you would like to help support our channel, please go ahead and click the link in the chat for 20% off all non-subscription items.
Nice. Also, don't forget to start your week here on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific with Crypt Creatures, our horror campaign DM'd by MZ Dusty. And as we no longer have Duke City Chronicles on Fridays, our Monster of the Week campaign by Jason Russell, we will be having a sci-fi adventure also by MZ Dusty called The Search for Planet Azad. Stay tuned to our socials for that campaign coming soon. And one of those socials happen to be what exactly, Colin?
Your tube,
Just
my tube,
your tube.
YouTube. YouTube, as we discussed, we're making a push, guys. YouTube is a really good venue? No, that's not the term. Anyway, we're there, and you could be there too, because saving our planet is the thing to do. Go subscribe today. You can see any of our shows that we've ever put out there. Yeah, please subscribe. We're at 933 last time I checked. 933. We're aiming for 1,000. So, also subscription wise, you can subscribe here on Twitch. We started the month over, so our subscription goal bar has reset. So we are, of course, would do another giveaway at 30 subscriptions. So keep that in mind. But if you do subscribe here on Twitch, you can give out inspiration and luck to the players or DM anywhere throughout the stream. They can use it for the stream. So please, you interact with us. We want to know. We want to know who you want to succeed.
Wanna know?
I wanna know.
Alrighty, guys. We are going to play our little intro video, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Solon, a world caught just outside the blessed fields of Elysium. Home to the migrated Cardinals, celestial animal kin searching for adventure. The Sun Guard are the protectors of this realm, standing against the forces of evil that seek to disrupt a lasting peace. It has been over 100 years since Bell's dark invasion faltered at Boiler Bay. In the north, Pelor's warming glow bestows prosperity to the nations of light. But in the south, a new story unfolds.
And Weesa back. Sorry for the weird Jar Jar. Okay. Yes, let's have a little recap here. Oh, let me put on some music though. I mean, music
I
would be
feel
good.
like the long intro that we've been promised.
Hey, look, guys, I want it to be something super special. The artist that's making it is a good friend. He wants it to be super special, you know. So hold
Doesn't
on.
mean I'm not going to ask about it every
That's fine. Every
single
time,
session.
if you know we have a week off, there, I'd say now there is a 80% chance that it'll be here the next session, 2 weeks from today, and it'll blow your mind.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, guys. The group took the evening to handle personal and individual aims. While some checked on friends and family, others took it in their own hands to attempt to find out more about the changes around town. Specifically, Calliope and Shay both got differing perspectives on the most current events. And now the group has joined back together on a path to Nuthunaol's with the acquired alchemical components from their trip to Myralan Forest. A few quick things, just for ease, Envy. We're going to say that you spent some time with Buck after the last time, and then, you know, through the magic of storytelling, managed to kind of catch them on the streets as they were gathering back up and heading toward Nuthunaol's, who you had already been to, but you're going back, unless you openly object. And the other thing I want to say real quick, I was just telling the crew during our intro, heads up, we are getting close to pushing towards a season finale. I told them to plan for sometime this summer. So that could be anywhere from 8 weeks to 12 weeks, who knows? But that's what we're looking at. We're going to be ramping up for a season finale. So now the group is together. You turned towards, did y'all all knew about Nuthunaol's location? I can't remember exactly. Okay.
I thought that we all like knew about it when we went the first time.
Y'all didn't go to Nuthunaol's the first time though. Y'all met Nuthunaol at Tyson's.
Oh.
Correct.
But he did tell us the name of
He
it?
did.
Was
He
it?
did. And I'm trying to
okay.
remember. Envy, do you remember how you found his? Did I just say you knew where it was?
I asked, what's her name?
Sintra. Or...
Oh, Swinda. You got
Swinda.
Swinda.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Biker Town. Hold on.
So we'll just say for ease, is
And
Envy,
Helena.
you meet up with him before they head off, so you can tell them how to get to the Healing Hut, which is his little storefront.
Okay.
So it's going to take you a couple minutes to get there. Is there anything you guys want to talk about as you are walking that direction? This, just to remind you, the time-wise, this is like 8 o'clock at night-ish, you know? I mean, night time, evening. No talking, huh?
Sorry, it sounded like somebody just got murdered outside.
Calliope.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Calliope's kind of loosening her belt a little bit as they walk because she's uncomfortable from eating dinner 3 times.
Sorry.
So
true.
she's just kind of like walking along, keeping an eye out as they go.
We gotta really like keep our eyes peeled for Envy. I haven't seen him since we left the tower and Ron's keep.
Calliope's gonna like smell the air. Does she smell if Envy is close?
Yeah, just because I feel like I just want you guys to be together. So yeah, you You catch the
Thank
wind,
you.
Envy. You didn't get like the jump on the group, but you kind of definitely saw them as they were meeting up, but you just hadn't made the move yet to join. But sure, we'll give me a perception check. Well, we might as well see if like you
If
really
I can
do, yeah.
smell it first.
I need a dice.
Ooh.
Sorry, I've been waiting for this guy.
You have a D100 of that style, right?
Oh, yeah, that's only 12.
I wish.
12. It's hard. There's a lot of overpowering smells that you realize are coming from yourself of like all the different meats and food that you've been ingesting. You know, ravenously. You've got
The meat sweats.
Ew,
Yeah,
I got
okay.
The
okay.
meat sweats.
That sounds. I don't know what.
It sounds so bad.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever really experienced the meat sweats in real life.
I have. The first time we went to Fogo de Chao. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Definitely had it then. I've had it a few times. Not recently, though. I feel like that's a teenage thing, maybe. Really? I don't know. Maybe it's because I was always having some alcoholic drinks with it, too.
So is Envy with us or no then?
It's Envy. Do you join up with the group?
Yeah. I would
Cool.
walk over.
Cool.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, where you been?
Hey.
Just here and there. What are you all up to?
Apparently we're going to Nuthunaol's. I want to sleep. Can we go sleep?
Yeah, I know. It's been a long day. But we should probably just get this part done.
We could have gone to Nuthunaol's earlier, but y'all decided that you wanted to go do things by yourselves and be a solo act. So here we are now. You will suffer for at least 1 more hour.
I actually went to Nuthunaol's earlier,
Real shit.
ironically.
Okay. Clearly, we gotta work on our communication skills, you guys. Like,
That is interesting coming from you.
I know I tend to do the over communicating thing, or the opposite. There's like no in between. It's just like strong in one direction. Don't tell anything to anybody, or tell too much.
All right, let's get this
That
over
was
with.
Shireen,
I
not
guess.
Calliope.
I saw Colin going like this, and so that's what made me keep talking. So I thought he was
Oh,
like,
no.
what?
I'm letting
I
y'all
was
talk
like
it
a
out.
confused look, and I was like, I'll explain.
Sorry, no, I'm fixing John's screen.
Okay.
That's all. Ça, c'est all.
C'est soir.
But if y'all are headed to Nuthunaol's now, you're kind of going in the wrong direction. It's that way.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever
Well,
been there before. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lead the way.
Well,
Yes. Lead the way.
All right. And he'll just start heading in that direction.
So similar to before, you kind of lead across the Stonefall Quarter. You see this kind of single-standing small structure with the sign out front, the several languages on it. And you knock and you hear the, "Who is it?"
It is Envy again with friends.
And you hear a little bit of rustling. And then you hear...
Oh, the place is very small, just so you're all aware.
You hear like before you hear some rustling behind the door, and then you hear the rustling at the like several locks that he has on this door. Just and then it opens it up and says, "Welcome back. Please, come in. There's not much room." And he invites you all in, and literally like closing the door behind you, you are huddled in this small structure. Again, the walls are lined. One of them has books and journals. One of them has two of the walls has just pot of plant. There's little terrariums of mold, mushrooms, some green plants, leafy plants, a lot of herbs. flowers. Some of these very like intricate and beautiful, exotic-looking flowers. Again, there's a light source. It's not natural fire, but it's definitely some kind of magical light source that is top and center of the room that is lighting up and bringing light to all of these plants, and unless covered, all of the components in here, also, as well as providing plenty of light for writing or reading. Set up on his desk, he already has, again, several more of these glassware contraptions where there's beakers with fire under them, liquids going inside of them, the tubes that kind of rise up and then dip down in like a looping form and then rise up. Some of them have collectors that seem to be able to be removed at certain points through this winding glass tubing. And as you kind of enter, he's, oh, please, I must say, keep your distance from the table. This glass is very fragile.
It's a little tight in here. This is gonna
be
difficult.
Normally I take my work to other people's locations. It keeps better peace of mind for me knowing that the diseases I see day to day stay in location. But I'm glad you are here. Did you happen to bring the Firetrap leaf?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's got it? Who's got it?
I have
Ruben
it. I
has
go
it.
bag of holding and get it out.
As you reach in for it.
Yeah, does it burn me?
Not damaging wise, but you definitely, as soon as you think about the item, you feel the heat emanating from it. It's not burning, but like taking like a hot loaf of bread out of the oven kind of thing. Like it is definitely warm.
This thing was not easy to get.
And I remember you guys got quite a bit too. So if I remember right, like there's at least 4, or I don't remember what I said. Maybe
I think
roll dice. We can find it, but there's definitely a lot of it. And he takes one of them. 8 leaves. Thank you. He takes one of them and he kind of points. You can put the other ones over there. And there's just like, it's on top of literal like stack of books. Like it's just stack of books. Good job stacking all these large, massive, warm fronds on it. But he doesn't pay much mind to you. And he says, okay, so I've been working on building up a bulk stock of the pre-solution. The mixture that I had been working with before, that now, once I add this component, I am hoping that it adds a little bit more. There's French. It's always going to go a little French. Little bit of permanence to this concoction. So, if you have a little bit of time, I can show you what I'm doing.
I'm absolutely fascinated by all of this. I've never seen anything like this before. Yeah.
Okay, so first I must harvest the plant. And so he puts it on the table and he takes out just this small dagger. It's not like a combat dagger. It's like a fillet. Siri, of course you're gonna think I'm talking. It's like a it's got a curve to it. It's almost like a fillet, like a fish filleting knife. And he peels off the outer shell, almost like aloe vera, where like he can peel off this outer hard husk of a shell, revealing this soft, gooey, but contained flesh, this dark red color that you can see the wave lines of heat emanating from it. He takes a good solid strip of this, like right from the base of this leaf. Leaf, you would say that proportion-wise, maybe a 10% by mass amount of this leaf he seems to have used in this one, that he then stuffs into a beaker, and he places it over a fire, and like he basically places it in this wire rack and swings it over, and when he swings it over, it's over a fire now, and then on the top it's lined up with the glass tubing that it then like kind of brings down a connector. And as this chunk of like gooey, like kind of watermelon aloe vera looking stuff starts to heat up, you see this like white pinkish smoke, not smoke, steam kind of rising as the mass of the substance kind of dissolves, kind of decomposes or like collapses in the bottom of the beaker as the steam is rising up from it. And he talks to you and says, "So we must harvest the okay, 3 bats. We must harvest the essential components from this. Most of the other natural components of this plant would hurt a person if they were to ingest it. So, as it goes through the pipes, it'll reach different temperatures. And at a perfect temperature, we can harvest some of the extract that we're looking for. And so you see, like, as this pink steam is climbing up, it kind of turns down this corner, and there's a condensate that goes into one flask that's very clear, and it goes, like, there's a steam that goes a little further, and you see forming on the sides this, like, thick, dark red, almost oil or it's viscous. It's very thick and syrupy. Starts kind of like just little droplets forming in this middle tube that leads down to a flask, and then at the very bottom there's kind of like a lot of stuff, no more heat added, a lot of stuff solidifying at the bottom that just seems to be a mixture of random stuff. And he says, through this distilling action, I can harvest this one component that I want, leaving everything else out. This is just step 1, though. After this, I must very carefully and slowly infuse it into the pre-concoction that I have already created. That is what is going to take a little bit of time.
Calliope's gonna like get closer to some of the like vials and beakers and stuff and kind of like look at things like just she's like gonna get her face kind of close to the one with all the viscous stuff in it and like that was it.
Okay. Like, you notice as you get like your kind of closest point, he stopped talking. He just was kind of watching, not really knowing what you're doing, but seeing that it's just this kind of piqued interest. He continues on. Now he's like looking away from the kind of alchemical setup and looks towards you and says, kind of like for the first time really taking in your party, and he kind of zooms in on you, Calliope, and says, "Oh dear." I can do an Irish accent. These marks, tell me. It put up a strong fight, yes?
Yes, as did my companions.
Oh, yeah. We barely got out alive. I mean, took most of us out, actually, for a minute there.
I was worried that the stories of its strength were mostly true. It kind of takes the effectiveness of finding a cheaper or more natural solution if it nearly costs the lives of those that have to harvest it. But
all of this is like gesturing to the table, the lab, his little mini lab. All of this is way over my head, but how much do you think you're going to be able to get from the leaves we brought you? How much do you think you're going to be able to make from that?
Well, I have a hypothesis on how this should all work. Now, I don't know how much you know about science, but this has never been done before. So, this is how I hope it will work. This substance, some things, especially from realms like the Fey realm, can have multiple mechanisms of action where it might hurt you in one way and heal you in another. Duality, in a sense. This, I'm hoping, will act in a similar way to damage the system enough to burn out and reset the person's body and get rid of whatever this curse, this affliction is with them. The components I've put into the solution handle all the symptoms of the curse, the vision, the foggy mind, those things I've been able to at least offer a very temporary solution for. But this added component, I'm hoping, will transform the solution to make its effects more permanent.
Or even test it.
Unfortunately, there's only one way to really test it. But I have worked with the Lost before, and they are relatively open to trying my solutions out. Now,
So you don't know how, you don't know yet, basically. One, if it's gonna work, or if it does work, how much you're gonna be able to make.
yes, that's true. I do not know for sure. Typically, this, luckily people have used this extract before for other purposes. I am hoping that I have a good idea already, judging by how much I took was a lower dose, but I have at least a starting point of knowing something that should cause an effect to humanoids of our species. The general humanoid species. Plural. So, you're right. Whether we get 5 doses or 50 doses, I do not know. If I had to guess, we should be able, from what you got here, to try out several, we will be able to determine the exact best proportions of each component to see if we've got it right.
Yeah.
Have you been? Because I know that people have been cured of this from, I guess, donations from either the Sisters of Shar or Lord Havish himself. Have you been present at any of these, healings before?
Yes, actually. The Sisters of Shar make kind of a big deal about it. It's very ritualistic.
Right. So is this Fire Bloom plant essentially the ingredient that they have to spend all their money on to sponsor these kind of things? What is the actual what is the reasoning for the high price?
You're talking about the Permentium.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's the one underground, right? The one that's harvested from
Correct.
underground?
It is a ore or mineral that is rarely found, but in veins, certain places across Solon. Yes.
Okay. So this Fire Bloom plant thing
Is an
something
alternative.
new?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay.
I only have my own personal research and literature to go on, but it's worth trying. So this step now to collect all of the extract and then slowly mix it into the solution, it's going to take several hours, perhaps deep into tomorrow morning or hopefully not much longer than that. And you see him now. He sets a beaker of the other, like you see him kind of combining several flasks of the other solutions he had on the table, and he kind of pours them in proportions into a master beaker. And so you've got like this condensation right here of the dark red ichor, like syrupy substance, and he turns a nozzle, and now that is above this beaker of the base fluid. And it seems to be, he places it on this metal contraption with a lot of gears, and he kind of winds up this gear, and you hear this and as it does, you see this bar spinning, and as this bar spins up, he plops in one into the flask, and that one starts spinning too, and you see a little vortex forming now in the solution, and that red condensate starts dripping very slowly, like once every minute or so, into this bottom solution. And every time it does, it hits a like flash of red, like as blood hitting sink water, and then it turns back clear.
Fascinating.
Calliope starts to like stare at it. Wait.
Do you have any questions to ease your curiosities?
Any of you guys?
All above me and Lupin's knowledge, so.
I mean, fingers crossed this works. I know you said that you don't know exactly how much time, maybe until tomorrow, to see the process and the outcome of your work. But just to give you a heads up about us and our time, do you need anything else from us at this point? Because we don't know what might happen with us in this city in the next few days.
As far as I know, until I know if this certain formulation is the one, I do not need your aid at this time. But if you wish, I will be attempting the application of this maybe tomorrow evening. I will contact Zarok and see if he has someone in mind to be the guinea pig for this trial run.
And who's going to be staying here to protect you overnight?
I don't know. I would hope I would not need protection.
Wasn't that part of our agreement that... Oh. Well. Okay.
I think Calliope's just concerned that you've put yourself in a lot of danger. I think we all are, because...
Those forces that would oppose me, they know I'm working on something. They haven't stopped me yet. But you are right to be concerned. Should it work? Should the first time it work, then I would definitely consider protection after that point on.
Does anybody besides Zarok and those working with the Lost know that you're doing this, and us? And Master Kaisen?
Yes.
Anybody else? No?
I know that for sure the Sisters of Shar know of my endeavors. And I would not be surprised with the eaters he has around town if Havish doesn't know as well.
And then what do you plan to do if everything goes as you want it to? After you administer the first dose and it works, what then?
That's a good question. To be honest, I have not thought much past this point.
Because people are going to want to control what they're already doing now, they're controlling who. You might want to think more about that. If you're right on the cusp of it working, you might have to answer that question quickly for yourself and others.
I wonder if it is really my decision to make. I've always considered myself a outside influence. I try to create a cure. I try to invent things that help people. My aim should always be to have for them to have the option to be cured of their ailments. That's my endeavor.
You might have people that get in your way. That's all I'm saying.
If that is
Powerful
the case,
people.
if that is the case, then you are correct. That attention will have to be put how this gets out from there on.
What do you think about this, Envy? I mean, you're a healer. Do you do stuff like this?
No, this is beyond my capabilities. I would need to study under Nuthunaol to even know where to start, essentially. This is creating remedies from natural substances that are out in the world. I just heal people.
Would that be something valuable to have you, Envy, learning like under Nuthunaol? What do you think, Nuthunaol? So that you're not the only one who can remake this?
I don't see myself leaving anytime soon, unless I have to run. So I would not mind giving a crash course in what it would take to at least do your best at replicating it.
That could be important. I mean, that's how we do it back home. We always have to keep the knowledge available.
Well, if you wish, Envy, feel free to stop by and I will do my best. Well, this is what I am going to be doing for the rest of the night, that's for sure. So, unless you like watching paint dry on walls.
The bodies that we brought to you, were you able
correct.
to investigate what caused the hole?
Again, I took a closer look, and I cross-referenced the size of the hole, and the placement was the most concerning. He brings down a book, and you see immediately on the front of this book this sketched, illustrated visage of this alien-looking figure with tentacles. And he opens up to a page and says, while certainly not exactly described the way you described these, or that seems to fit here, these struck me as similar. And he shows you this diagram drawing of like the outline of a humanoid form, and there was a larger section missing along the back portion, like drawn like this, kind of like it's like an outline sketch of the back shoulders of a humanoid, in this like darkened in section that's like kind of this, it looks like a large octopus. And one of the tentacles seems to be going up the neck right to the temple. And that's the sketch that he shows you.
Ooh, that is troublesome. Ooh.
The lineage and history of mind flayers. There is probably just as much known and put out about their existence and abilities as much as there is unknown. But this documented variation seems to have some similar attributes. Noticing that it has connection to the same place as we saw in our victims.
Have any of you guys encountered anything disturbing like this before?
I don't know. Have I?
Hold on, let
Have
me
I?
think about this. Have I?
No, not really from what I understand of Vesta.
Right. From what I understand of Vesta, I agree.
I would say the same about Calliope. Would you agree there as well?
I would agree there as well. Shay, if you wanted to, you could give me a history check.
Yay, with my new dice!
There you go. Eric Bra, welcome in, brother.
Eric!
It's good to see you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Ooh,
biddies.
ooh, 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 ooh.
No way.
My first official roll on it was a 19.
Ooh.
We're doing history, right?
History.
21.
Those are good dice.
My one die is his one.
That's a good dice.
You are well aware that several of the baronage families in Polstrom openly work with some Illithid influence. There's a presence of... It's one of those things where, like, everyone knows they're somewhere, but no one really talks about where they are. At least, in the circles you've been in. But you've heard just through conversation and your general kind of stuff that there are people that at least, you don't know. There are perhaps even some houses that fake it to try to get better standing. To say, right. But there are some of the more powerful houses that, if you had to guess, might actually have that type of influence or connection.
Chelsea knows what a mind flayer is. I don't remember all of the information about Illithid and mind flayers and stuff, but so Shay would know generally what that means and what that entails, correct?
Yes,
Not just about the influence and the use of them.
Correct.
And so is that something like you're a powerful family or a baronage and you like hire them to help you use influence and control?
It's more it's less circumstantial than that and more like ingrained. A lot of the higher houses have insignias, have like color choice. Like they have themes. They definitely have like these more ceremonial aesthetics, and some of them openly kind of flaunt this Illithid-like designation, whether it be through their emblem, through their house, like insignia. And they do dealings, like it's the families that do dealings in like trade of exotic trade or exotic, like foreign governments and connections with very multiple different, even like across realms. Those are the families you've known to have like that kind of aesthetic connection.
Okay. Ooh.
As always, chat, let me know if music is too loud or too soft.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Is this book about these things?
Yes, this book here talks about more of a history, not of current. It's not a current publication. It's more of a tomb of knowledge and. Yes.
Gosh. Well, after Shay sees it and he pulls it out, and she's now made all these connections in front of everyone. Well, definitely got some big, powerful people again. Which ones, though? They had their hand in this. This is just straight up mind control, like we thought. But there's some powerful houses that use them the most. But who's to say which one? Was it Havish? Was it?
Stop conjecturing in front of the citizen.
What do you mean conjecture? Sorry, I don't mind talking about this in front of him, but okay. He's the one trying to help people, and he's the one that, helped look at these bodies for us.
Yes, but the last time we gave away too much information, it got us in hot water.
Yeah, that was to a crowd of people, not in a quiet room with the guy who's trying to save
Sorry.
the afflicted.
If you don't mind, I like to generally keep my focus very narrow, and if you think for some instance that there are illithids involved here, that would actually be kind of funny.
Funny.
Do you not
You've
know?
got a twisted sense of humor.
Well, the fated Gith are known enemies to the illithids. They are hated rivals and pretty much the only thing Githyanki are truly afraid of.
Well,
You say the fated Gith?
Mhm.
Okay.
so who also hates the gift?
Are you asking me or your group?
Yeah.
You.
The Nuthunaol or?
Nuthunaol. Yeah. You know all this information.
Well, I can't say that anyone is truly enjoyed being aligned with the Gith. They are a necessity in certain ways for the people here, especially the Gith. Higher crust and nobility that have made their way into Gorspire. They spend the money, they buy the commerce and the marketing goods of the citizens around here.
I guess the question I should have asked is who would stand to benefit with the gifts gone?
The other houses. It's a good question. It's something I've thought about. And honest, man, the voice is all over the place. It seems that the other houses at least understand that the gifts play a certain important role here, because none of the houses have attempted to this point to dethrone them or to check their authority. Maybe it's because of the allies they have to the south that they so openly flaunt.
And what is the name of their allies in the south that they flaunt?
The Red Dragons of Folly Peak. They do not keep that alliance under key.
What
Well-
did the Dragons of Folly P get in exchange for this alliance?
That I do not know. But perhaps knowing would help us, or you, answer some of these questions. Is there anything else?
Anything else from anybody?
No, we should probably let Nuthunaol continue his work.
Yeah.
Very well. Well, please come find me tomorrow before evening. I will wait until evening before I attempt this administration.
Oh.
Good luck.
You too.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
you make your way and find yourself outside Heed's healing hut. It's now getting closer to the 9-10 hours, evening time. What would you like to do?
Shay is yawning, like that uncontrollable yawn every few seconds.
Man, I've had that very recently as a person.
Somebody else in our group did too last week.
He wasn't awake to yawn.
He was quiet. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys. It's been a long day. Shh, Calliope, wow, girl, you need to sleep. You need to heal those poor wounds. Like, you are a sight to see, my friend. But your hair still looks like really good. So I don't know how you did that, but like.
Calliope's just like, yeah, I could use a rest.
But really, I want to tell you guys about a few things. We should probably talk soon if we don't have the energy tonight in the morning.
Do we really have a safe place to talk? Like, do we assume Habitat's mansion is a safe place?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't actually know. I don't think it's safe at all. If Nuthunaol's was any bigger, I was gonna suggest that we just spend the night there, but that wasn't gonna happen.
What would y'all like to do?
Go back to the inn.
Could go get a room. I mean, or I guess we go to sleep and then once we leave, talk over breakfast.
Yeah, but
Somewhere private.
Yeah, we'll have to figure this out.
Hey, does anybody here have any arcane abilities to check stuff out like that?
Like telepathic link?
To like detect magic or something in the room, or see if things like that.
I'm actually gonna ask Envy if he thinks Buck would be able to identify that thing I found.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's night, because that'd be crazy. Like, we need a rest, but...
What thing did you find again?
I know.
In Havish's office when we were left alone for some ungodly reason.
Like a long time.
Yeah. I found, like, I think it was like a stone? It was like
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a marble kind of sphere,
yeah. And
galaxy sphere.
Okay.
And like, I don't know what this is, and so it'd be nice to know what it is. Like, we're not carrying like a bomb around or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, what if it's just been listening this whole time?
It might
pocket?
be. I mean,
It's not. It's in the bag of holding.
Good to know.
Smart
does anybody else want to do
ways to
anything
live.
before we go to bed?
No, I was just looking to see if I had anything, but I don't.
I'm gonna send you a quick question, Ashley.
Okay.
But because I don't want to meta, because I don't remember if it was like just with your character or not.
We'll say you guys are, but is the choice to go back to Inran's Keep in your actual quarters?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Since we've discussed it, on the walk back. When we get inside of the keep, I'm going to go ahead and cast Detect Magic and walk around the whole place and see if I can detect any magic that isn't from one of us.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Hmm. 16.
16. You walk around. Are you going? Not just. Are you doing the full like the common room? Or are you like actually doing each individual bedroom?
I'm gonna walk around. I have like multiple spell slots, so if it takes 30 minutes, it'll take 3 spell slots. I'm gonna walk around.
It wouldn't take that long. No.
Well,
does it last 10 minutes? Is that what you're saying?
It lasts 10 minutes. Yeah.
No, you'll be able to do it all. You notice the magical items on your companions. So I don't know if you've cast this before. I know Envy has quite a bit.
Yeah.
You notice the magical rune on Envy's back. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before.
I noticed magical items on people that I haven't noticed before, that I haven't seen been used.
Probably, yeah. You see all the magic items in the group. You can ask them to divulge what they are.
I sparkle from head to toe.
Shay's all magic.
I really am. Everything. Accessory, outfit.
But other than that, you do not see any other magical presences around.
Okay.
Esther, you okay? You pacing around.
Yeah, you said to see if this was a safe place to talk. I was just checking.
Oh, good. I didn't. You didn't say that. Wasn't sure what you were doing. Got it.
Y'all's communication is so good. So good.
I'm gonna go sleep now. Night, y'all.
Wait, so it is okay.
It seems like it's safe.
You guys want to talk now? We can talk now.
We can go to bed and I can cast it again in the morning to make sure that no one's listening.
Oh, well then, yeah, let's do it tonight so you don't have to do that twice. It's up to you guys, really. I got it in me. It's fine. I'm like, woo, I can do it.
That was not at all convincing, but okay.
Chelsea really wants to. It's just Shane. Been waiting weeks to talk to you guys about stuff.
So, what?
What?
Did you want
Who's going to go first?
Well, I mean, Envy. I didn't mean to. It just kind of happened, but I totally stumbled onto the Misfits and met the boss, by the way.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
When I was talking to Buck, he suggested that he might not be, or he might be a good person to actually meet. So did that go well, or?
Well, I mean, first impressions I think are important, but it's hard to tell too. But I did some prying, I did some digging, I did some questioning. He's a cat?
A what?
Wasn't expecting that.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The boss is a cat.
He's a full-blown house cat. Not like you, Calliope. Like, not ferocious tigress. Like, little furry kitty. But talks.
Like, you're talking like a human size, like 5 foot, 6 foot tall cat?
No. Just your standard house cat. A little overweight, a little chubby, like eating a little too much tuna, but like cat.
Are you sure you found the actual location of where you're supposed to be and you weren't just having a hallucination?
Girl, I mean, yeah. You would think I was. It was wild. It was wild. So just to tell you guys how I did it, you know, I saw somebody taunting you, Calliope, over in the market when you were talking to that cute guy you were talking to. We'll come back to that. And so I saw them, and they were calling names at you, and so I found them over at that hole. You know, that room where we met that little girl named Shalala a few days ago. And she told us she couldn't tell us about the hole in the ground inside the room.
Oh.
It was like a trap door, basically. It was like this staircase that went down, and I didn't go as my usual self. I was a little dressed up. You met her earlier tonight. Remember? Maggie. And so I went down there, and they introduced me to the cat. He had like a throne and everything. It's this total underground. I was gonna say Lost Boys, but that's not this world. You know, like lots of sea urchins, lots of young and youth, but not everyone. And he also has like his right hand woman. She looks like a little girl, full armor, beautiful sword.
DM, does any of us remember day of the trials seeing the cat in the street?
Ooh, good
Oh,
I know someone did. I know someone
yes.
did. It wouldn't have been Calliope because the path he took. Was it?
I remember, or maybe I was just listening when somebody else was. I can't
remember.
I remember
if it was
that you
Shane.
I forget
detailed
who
the.
went
You
that
said
far
there
that
was a
way.
cat.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
go
what I'm
to
trying to
episode
remember.
now.
It had to
Because I
like.
know
It had to
it was
have been.
Shay and Envy that were the ones that couldn't climb up for the longest
Yeah.
time.
Y'all
and
kind
it
of
was
went
the other
further back.
three.
You guys didn't
Yeah.
go closer to the street. Y'all were back across the way. Vesta, you were gone with your.
Yeah, I am.
With
I think it was Shay or
Legs.
Envy. I do.
Yeah, I think
do
it would have.
was one of us.
No, I don't think so. Because you were up near. They
Yeah,
were.
because we went right and
Yeah.
the cat was on the
You went
far
through the map that I
left.
hadn't created yet. Because you were following Killjoy. You and
The center
Killjoy were
of-
having
yeah.
your
It would have
That's right.
pissing
it would have had to
contest.
been like Lupin, maybe.
It was either
It was
Lupin or
whoever
Calliope.
was
Maybe.
down that
I,
road.
Yeah.
Calliope
was either
remembers
Lupin
seeing
or
the
and
cat.
saw.
Or I mean,
Yeah.
it could have been Vesta when I might have described it to Vesta as she was flying over.
Right?
I'm fairly certain I made a perception check as
You
I
did,
flew
yeah.
over,
Yeah.
but I do not remember.
Just for shits, let's say
And
both
giggles.
Vest and Giggles. Yeah, I always leave out the giggles.
The giggles are fun.
Let's say both Vesta and Calliope have this trigger moment of seeing a house cat size thing sitting atop the boxes. And when she describes like the girl with pink hair and the large sword, you saw like those two figures next to each other on those boxes. Calliope, you were on the ground level. You kind of looked over as you were running by, where you kind of like charged through those people that tried to stop you, if I'm remembering right. Maybe that was Lupin. I don't know. There was a little confrontation there with Misfits. And then Vesta, of course, you flying over. You saw it too.
Oh. That makes
Is this ringing a
sense.
bell? You guys have met the cat?
Not met, but seen.
I don't know. I've seen a few house cats in this city, but I have seen girl with pink hair.
Pink pigtails. Little.
I think her hair was in French braids that
That's
day,
fair.
but
Yeah, might have been the same one. Got full-blown talks. Talks like a human. So unnerving. Was really helpful. Was really accommodating. Offered me a job. So Maggie is officially working for the Misfits, by the way. Currency is food, shelter, and lodging for information.
I guess this is a question. You met the boss as this Maggie entity, not as Shay?
Yeah.
So technically, we haven't met the boss yet.
No. I didn't know if it was going to be a good idea or not.
Fuska, thank you for the raid. Welcome in.
Thank you. I did, at the end, preface that I knew someone and I had friends that wanted to meet. that would be more helpful. They were hesitant and wary of meeting all of you, but were willing to have my friend stop by. But I don't know if it's a good idea to go as... I might stay as Maggie for a while. But that's why I'm talking to you guys. I don't know.
Would it behoove us to not all go then?
Yeah, I think we need to wait it out a little bit, or... Well, that's what I mean. I don't know, you guys. Like, what's going on? Ever since this power shift, and Havish is coming back in a couple days, but honestly, with the little bit of talking I did, and I did a little bit of detect thoughts, I did it. I'm guilty. I did. I didn't probe too deep. I just did the surface ones, and I don't think he did it. I mentioned that I was very good about it. Like, I didn't, like, say I knew, but that Havish thinks that they were attacked by the Misfits.
So, go ahead.
The boss was, like, fervent that, like, it wasn't them. And like I said, I read his mind a little bit. I don't think it was him or them.
So that might be a good segue to what I found. You might recall that I stole some pages out of a binder book. I don't think binders exist yet.
Oh, in the office? In Havish's office?
Yes, I read those pages, and I took such good notes. I'm so proud of myself. Inside of it, there were some schematics of the keep, and it turns out that there is like a whole tunnel dungeon system underneath this keep, and that it seems like they are searching for things because there were a few tunnels that were crossed out that led to nothing. But it definitely gives off the vibe of like we're keeping things down there to test on. And a lot of the pages were about population management.
Ooh.
And these notes were definitely like written for Lord Havish to follow step by step. Here, checklist on what to do. And the population management section was not yet used. So I might have accidentally stole the next part of his evil plan. But I would be curious to know who wrote these plans for him to follow.
Could these be the area that the one girl that we met early on is exploring?
She was sent to go explore. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be with us, and he sent her to go create that map system down there. She had a map and everything. Her name was... I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you in a little bit.
Yeah, it was like episode like
I have my
4.
NPC list. I'll find it. But yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We'll find out who it was.
I can tell you. Lisso.
Lizzo.
Lizzo. Not Lizzo.
Not Lizzo. I know, but every time I see it, I think of Lizzo.
Yeah, she was, yeah. I always thought that was really weird. Didn't make sense either. There's so much with this underground system here. Like, it makes my head spin.
Yeah. So, I mean, unless someone has more information, I would like you to just think with me for a second.
Please, yeah.
Pretend you are a crazy man who has books full of lesson plans on how to take over the world or the Gorse-Fire Keep, whatever have you. And you have a habit in this society of keeping octopusy...
Great movie.
Couldn't even try to keep a straight face on that one.
No.
Octopusish. Octopusish.
Creatures.
Octopi.
We're gonna get banned from Twitch because I just said the P word.
No, that's a real James Bond movie. You were just referencing.
I know it is. Octopus-like creatures that control your brain where better to keep said creatures that like dark places? I'm assuming that I learned that somewhere, not that Ashley, I just realized that Ashley might have pulled that out of her own ass. Like to live in dark places and can control minds. And oh, look, the Durigard that are part of the whatchamacallits that attacked. Oh, they came from the underground. Que sorpresa.
What was the last part?
How surprising.
Queso fresca.
I love it. Que sorpresa. I'm
Queso
writing this one
fresca.
down. It's a good, it just rolls off the tongue, you know? Que sorpresa.
That's my George Bush Spanish. Queso fresca.
Hashtag
Que
que
sorpresa.
sorpresa. I have running hashtags for this whole campaign, by the way. Well, but that's actually a really, really great theory. Like, now I really, like, I wanted to really go explore the underground, and now I really am afraid to do that.
Also, what better way to control population than to have some weird, incurable, mysterious disease that's just too expensive to cure?
Mm-hmm.
And the people who, I bet you, the people who have been sick so far are all the test subjects that they've been trying this out on to see what strain they want to use. COVID, pandemic.
Conspiracy theories now.
Now we're gonna get banned.
Yeah.
We can say pussy, but we can't say that.
Correct.
We're gonna have to clip that for later.
Clip
for
that.
sure. Yeah, that needs to be clipped.
125. Okay.
Shay,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. You said you detected the boss's thoughts?
Yeah, I did.
Have you done that before since you've been...
It's a magic that I've been kind of like trying out and testing out and was like working on. It was actually the first time I did it successfully. But I did a pretty good job. I think I could do it again, but I haven't yet.
I mean...
I think what he's asking is, have you done it on him, and does he need to be worried about you reading his brain?
Oh, no. I'll admit that I wish I could have, but I haven't. I haven't had the ability yet. I just figured out how to do it. Promise.
Okay.
Insight check.
Lupin, not envy. What am I rolling? Or was that a roll inside check?
No.
While they're
Okay.
doing that,
I just want to roll.
Yes, my next question would be, if there are individuals that have mind control capabilities, wouldn't you think they would have ways to protect their mind from being read? I imagine if you tried the spell and you weren't able to get anything, they probably would be a higher ping for us to investigate than someone that you could read their thoughts.
That they would also automatically out themselves as suspect because they know to protect themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's also a good theory. But okay, now going back to the whole mind control thing and the illithid, now these families in Polstrom, I mean, it is embedded, it is entrenched, it's generational, it's who's in control of the influence here? Is it Havish or is it against Havish? You guys are thinking it's Havish? Because the Gith, they historically, like he said, they don't work with the illithid. So I like your theory, Vesta, but maybe that's the part that's...
If you were a man put in charge with very little power, because the Gith had control of it, wouldn't you want to keep a few mind flayers on the side, just in case you wanted to wrench that power from the Gith?
Yeah, I feel like
I don't
whoever
know.
has
I mean, I
the
think
most to benefit from the gift losing everything would be the person to look at here.
Didn't someone say that Havish is kind of like the oddball of the Gith? that he stands out kind of.
I thought Havish wasn't Gith at all. He just works with them.
No, Havish is good.
No, wait.
Oh, he is Gith.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's why I'm like,
I've been operating this whole time assuming that he was like a human.
there's
I
a
actually
lot.
thought I thought he was human too.
Yeah, no.
I thought he was just a gift that didn't have like family power. If you go like in the
Lineage.
range.
Lineage.
That's more accurate, yeah.
Okay.
He definitely was gift that
Yeah.
that icon that was dropped.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay. Hold please while I rethink what I was just saying.
Well, yeah, so, but I think you're onto some things, but it's like maybe we don't have all the pieces in the correct places.
Well, I think what controls this town are all of the major factions. So you have Githyanki, you have the Shar, you have the big leaders like the Misfits, all these people. Now, if you did have access to, say, some mind flayers or people that control people's minds, you could easily use them for, maybe this is a false flag kind of thing. Like, maybe he had them mind control some of the Misfits to do this thing to start a war with the Misfits.
That's what I think happened. I think Lupin and I are on the same page. Also, historically, they've been enemies. Who's to say that they haven't come up with some weird subset of mind flayers that they're suddenly really best friends with, and they're like, oh yes, let's control the world together.
And maybe this isn't the first time they've done it either, because maybe they did something similar with the orcs that were here.
Speaking of that, I have Buck investigating that. Namely, to try and find somebody from that orc tribe for us to talk to if they are
Great
even
idea.
around anymore.
But just to remind you, NV2, he also shared with you the journal from Finrank with the notes about the orc. He had showed you that he finally found something as he was going through Finrick's journal notes. Yeah.
What part am I missing out of that?
He slept so hard, he has forgotten.
It's
I remember, but I wasn't there.
No. I'm looking it up, so I mean, I don't mind. It happened, so he knows. I just have to look it up exactly what I said. Yeah, the history of the orcs.
3 hours for Envy, but
the orcs led by Trick, Boulder, Snug were brutish and tribal, not easily adapting to the shared authority. There was tensions that seemed to keep rising until it was discovered that Trick and his friends attempted to assassinate the boss. The council voted to unanimously eject the orcs from the council, followed by Havish executing Trick on the spot. Most of the orcs left town. Most of the orcs left town after that. But that was decades ago. Like, that was a while ago.
So does Envy, do you share that with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like an expand of what we already knew. But
I think so, yeah. Because I feel like I've had those notes from earlier, too. Yeah.
And then the other note, just to remind you, is there was also talking about how the boss almost lost his spot on the council because he raged out and he tried to attack Trick during the council meeting, which is a big no-no.
Trick?
Yeah.
Trick.
The orc.
The orc.
Oh, Trick, Boulder.
Yeah. Boulder Snug.
Snatch.
Wait, who tried to attack Trick?
The boss.
Boss, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Although that's just amusing. A house cat attacking an orc.
How does that look?
I've seen house cats
It's all
attack
claws.
like some big ass animals. A bear.
This
A cat
but this
attacking
is
a bear.
more conflicting information because right now Havish thinks or is planning to make it look like the Misfits and the boss are the ones who attacked him. But he looks like he defended the boss possible assassination from Trick, the orcs back in the day. So either allegiances and alliances have shifted. We've missed something. Something's happened since then.
I mean, I don't think Lord Havish is a non-intelligent individual, correct? Like, he wouldn't just feed into someone's play against him without having something to justify his reasoning. Because let's say we do come back and we're like, yes, it's the boss. Does he just trust our word? Or, I mean, I guess depending on the evidence, but
He wanted evidence. Or the people who did it.
so is it more that he wants to take out the boss? Or is it that he really wants definitive proof to take out the boss for his own benefit? Power-wise.
I don't know about you guys think, but I don't know why, but my intuition is telling me the latter. I don't have my own evidence for it, necessarily.
Yeah. It seems pretty suspicious.
While we're floating theories, what if Lord Havish is innocent and it's all his stupid son?
Or someone else.
I mean, I don't
general.
trust him as much as
What if
the-
it's all Ryshaw? He's a stupid idiot. He figured out how to
It's
do it.
Ryshaw. He disappeared too quick.
Y'all
in the
hated
story.
him from like moment one.
It was
You
like
made us
day
hate him
one,
from moment
and he
one.
didn't show up to like the whole meeting that we were supposed to be at. I'm just like, where is this guy?
I mean,
I'm
I
waiting
don't
for-
hate the guy, but I can probably bet on the fact that he hates me.
I'm waiting for the grand plan ultimately to be like,
Shit.
Ryshaw
Oh, 'cause
wasn't
you look
actually
like
ever going to
his
be a
dad and
villain,
beat him.
but now he's going to be a villain.
Yeah.
He was supposed to
Made
be
him
like
the
what
villain.
Buck is to us. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it would actually behoove us to get a little closer to him and just check it out. But what about Jennifer Slod? He even is the one that has real lineage. You pointed that out, Vesta. He got all flustered when you did.
Well, whose lineage?
General Slod.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. His,
You've-
yeah.
The rightful heir to the throne type.
I don't think he said heir.
I know, that's why I was like,
You're right, but
air
it
quotes.
was right. Okay.
Yeah, but
It is.
he got skipped. He got or something.
Something.
Oh, all this stuff makes my head
So-
spin.
Does the general answer to Lord Havish?
Supposedly.
That's what it seems like.
And Ryshaw answers the general.
Something, it's like the tip of my tongue. Imagine, you're more qualified for a position and it is given to someone I feel like we're going into like
Sabotage?
real life situations
I
here.
know.
But
Sabotage.
Go for it.
and it's given to someone with less qualifications, but you still have to, essentially they become your boss. I mean, no pun intended for the boss.
No
but-
paw intended.
It's too late, Shay. I need to-
Oh boy.
General Slod immediately asked for us to meet with him when we arrived back because
Yeah.
of the chaos that we ensued beforehand. But would that have necessarily happened if he didn't want us to find information? Perhaps I'm reaching too far into it.
No, he seemed mad with us, too. Genuinely.
Because let's say the general is framing Lord Havish, and Lord Havish does something against the boss, and then it's revealed that it wasn't, that wouldn't make Lord Havish look too good. And that would make the general's position to sort of rise up or be a better qualified individual more likely.
I feel like it would give him a step up. He'd have Vesa, you asked a really good question. You said, who wrote this expansionism manual? Is it just something that the Gith pass on? You know, is it just some internal, strategy that they've
playbook?
used? That it's not special to Gorespire. It's just
the villain's playbook on
it's
how
their
Yeah.
it's the Gith, I mean, this city was once a little tiny tribe that was ruled by orcs, and then they came in, and this is. Oh, but you said that you don't think he's gotten to this part in the play.
I think that he's tested this part because what I read was very minimal because I ripped out pages that's random, but it very much was like you need to have a group to pit them against. Colin, nod if I'm right. Is that what I read?
Which he's remembering.
It was very very like tactics for keeping certain shifts of balance. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you needed to have like a group to
people needed to feel like they had representation. People, how to like manage certain peoples, but it definitely it didn't go into the way Gorespire is being run. It was definitely still more authoritative on the Gith side.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think.
What?
Go ahead.
No, I was just kidding. Please go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it's time for bed.
I was gonna say, actually, this is a lot, but like, Lupin, didn't you go talk to Tristy? I mean, how'd that conversation go? And Calliope, what did you do? Who was that cutie in the market? Like, you guys got anything to share?
If seeing that this is the next question in line, I feel like taking our break now would be a good idea, and we'll come back to these juicy nuggets of gossip with Lupin and Calliope. So we're gonna take a break, guys. 10 minutes to get drinks, go to the bathroom, that kind of stuff, and we'll of course show our intro video to bring us back from our break. But exclamation critical in the chat to enter our giveaway, which will happen after the break. Stick around. We will be right back.
Hey, bye.
Hello. Welcome back to Fabled 42. If you haven't yet, please do exclamation critical to get into our giveaway, which we're going to do right now. John, I didn't even need you to say it. I got it this time. It was
I'm
there.
so proud of you,
I
man.
know, I learned.
So proud.
I can
Progress.
has learning. Progress. Guys, just a couple seconds to get into that giveaway. Give it away. Right now. Well, not right now. A two, Brute, give it away.
A 1. A giveaway.
A 3, bats. Roll it. That's a Mr. Eric Bra right there. Which you just actually heard his voice if you were listening there. He is our voice actor for the intro video, which it's very cool having him a friend of the stream. Favorite vampire for sure. He's my favorite guy that tells me softly about railroad tracks while I fall asleep.
It's funny. I love the Calm app and I love the sleep stories.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I am friends with Eric, I can't listen to them. I'm like, it's like my friend Eric is talking me to sleep, and I'm like, now this is weird.
I'm the other way.
Now it's creepy.
I like to listen to
Eric.
it.
Your voice is so soothing, but now that I know you, it's now weird.
But I like to do it, and then but I was worried that one shot I was like, oh no, if Eric talks too much, he's gonna put me to sleep on stream.
Except he's always boisterous and laughing.
That's
we
true.
get that Eric.
Yeah.
We don't get the like sleepy time Eric.
Sleepy time, super chill.
So if you haven't, we're hey Calm, you want to sponsor Fable 42? We'll plug your app.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. I would do. I actually had thought for a while during the pandemic, if I was ever to do like a sleep story type thing, I'd call it Scroll of Sleep, and it would be like either podcast type thing or short quest stories about D&D.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, let's jump back in as Shay asked for an update from Calliope and Lupin's excursions out on their own.
Let me just as interesting as it would be for me to be hanging out with some guy that's my cousin.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to the market and I ended up running into my cousin. We spent some time together. That's pretty much it.
Fun? Was it you have good news, bad news? Was it like
It was good. It was good to see
Good.
my family.
all right, cool. Cool. Your family lives like in the swamps somewhere?
Well, and we would call it the bog area, but
Bogs, I apologize. Cool. I mean, don't want to pry. Got it. Respectful. Got it. Got it. Lupin. Tristy. She went and flipped the script.
She is part of the Sisters of Shar, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
There was apparently some misunderstanding with her initiation, and
Oh.
there was a slaying, and yeah, she's now
slaying?
in.
Other than the slaying we partook in?
Correct.
Hmm.
Apparently, Tristy was moved by Varaka's, slaying of whoever gave her this thing, and she's in.
Wait. Huh? Explain it to me like
So-
I'm five. What?
So I guess whoever gave her this initiation job,
Uh-huh.
I guess knew of how dangerous it would be, and so like it was supposed to be something relatively like not hard, but not like gonna kill you kind of thing.
Oh.
It was brought up to Varaka, and she, I guess, brought this person in, and it resulted in that person being slayed by her, like murdered in front of Tristy and Saba. So,
Whoa. Who was the person that set Tristy up?
did I get that name? I don't think I got that name.
I don't think you got that name.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're dead now. So,
Do you believe it?
I mean, belief or not, this is what now the situation is. So, yeah. Anyway, she doesn't plan on going back to Polstrom. I mean, she totally could at this point, but she says she's staying. So,
Huh.
yeah. It sounds like, I don't know. I feel that of the various leaders that we have dealt with, it seems like really the power players are Havish and Baraka. That's what it sounds like. Like, from your interaction, it sounds like the boss is trying to take care of their people. Yeah, it might be through mischievous means, but
Yeah.
they're surviving. The Lost seems like they're trying to take care of their own. The Night Watch, I mean, we know their story, so I don't know. It seems like that Havish and Baraka are the more ambitious ones. That if they were trying to make some power move, it'd probably be from them.
And have we decided if they're really truly aligned or if it's just a mutual respect out of fear of kind of knowing how capable the other one is? You know?
I would think it's gonna have a check and balance system, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I mean, I don't think, all of, they might be able to take out all of the Gith like all the other factions, but it'd probably be a bloodbath if they could. But with each of the factions having a little bit of power, it probably keeps some kind of balance. And I don't know.
Okay.
We
Hear me
have
out.
a inspiration luck to give out should someone need it at some point tonight. I don't think there's been like 2 dice rolled this entire session. But appreciate that. We'll make sure it gets out to someone.
Insight check.
There we go. Who you insight checking?
No funny.
Oh,
You wanted to roll.
I just wanted to roll.
Okay, hear me out. Because we're like theorizing crazy ideas tonight. I like this theme. Please keep them rolling. I want to hear from each one of you. But like, for real, I think you're right. Havish and Vraka probably have the strongest, the most power out of the group. Maybe.
I mean, they at least have enough funds to buy this magical cure. None of the other leaders seem to have that.
I mean, I'm more increasingly intimidated by Varaka. She murdered somebody without trial, without looking into it, pure speculation on the spot. You don't even know the name of this said guilty person. What if they're not even really guilty and it's actually Varaka that was guilty and it's her way to get Tristy to trust her?
Just be.
Just saying.
But again, I feel this is also like Varaka didn't murder anyone randomly on the street. It was probably just another Sisters of Shar underling that was, this is the justice of Sisters of Shar, and so.
But that's what I mean. These people are the people that are in power, that are running things, and that's how they do things. That sounds troublesome, for sure. Ugh. I don't know. Does anybody else get a bad, icky feeling from that? That's not who I'd want to be under, or have to answer to, or have above me.
I don't care for her very much.
Yeah, I don't know. Tristy, I mean, she's your friend, and I don't know her, but sounds like the girl's making the wrong choice. Or a dangerous one.
Probably. But as much as I hope she wouldn't have joined, she has, so.
Anything else? Any other stuff?
So, my question, I guess, still stands when we were seeing Nuthunaol. Vesta, do you know what... If I was a dragon, and I had power, why the fuck would I make a deal with Havish?
Thinking that for a long time.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I didn't ask that question when I met with them. I do know that the dragons were gifted the land that they currently reside on, but not by the gift? Question mark, Colin?
You know that there was there's an agreement somewhere between like the Gith as a whole. And that like historical agreement has allowed for this relationship to form between Folly Peak and the Gith at Gorespire.
So, yeah, I don't think it's so much that they like Lord Havish so much as they like the Gith. And they don't particularly trust Lord Havish. I definitely wrote down Lord Tavish. Doing great.
I like it.
And I was told that we can trust General Zod. General
Slod.
Slod. Oh, it's Slod. I always had it with a V.
Slod.
Like Eastern.
making up
Slod.
new
Slod.
NPCs.
He's on your list in Discord.
He is on my list. He's written down right here, but I
Oh,
definitely
he is
wrote it down
on my
as Zod.
list.
He's on my short list.
Writing my second ballad, you know.
Mm,
So
So for like theorizing things, maybe Slod and the dragons are working to get rid of Havish.
don't think it would take this much to get rid of Havish. It's a dragon.
You would think that this would not be a problem, but
I don't know. I'll ask the dragons tomorrow morning.
Before or after we go and explore the dungeons underneath the tower? Or the keep?
Well,
is
here's-
that the plan for tomorrow?
I don't know. I was just saying it could be kind of fun and dangerous and crazy.
it would be very fun to explore the dungeons underneath, but we have been tasked with finding out
Envy.
certain information
Yes.
or proving it wrong, and if we can't prove it wrong, we are hooked. So,
Okay.
is that information going to be in the dungeon? It's like a 25% chance.
Okay, well,
Maybe 50. Colin's laughing.
what else do you guys think we should go investigate? I feel like at this point, or soon, really soon, we gotta start making some decisions on who we can trust and who we don't trust.
yeah.
We can't
think
keep
that-
just investigating everyone and hoping for the best.
I will
think-
say, remember when we were talking about the premium,
Permium.
man.
What?
This is the episode when it all comes out.
I've got my notes right here.
Slaughter every name you've ever made up. I'm so sorry.
Sweet.
Um,
I just
Havish
slaughtered
was
their
not-
voice.
Lord Havish did not seem super thrilled that we were questioning him about the Permium.
Permium.
And it's really hard to say with an accent.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I can't.
The-
Good luck.
The Permium.
It's her accent. She's saying it
Permian
correctly,
Basin.
Colin.
There,
She
well,
just
no,
has a
it's very
thick-
Texan, and in Texas, it's Permian Basin. It's a high
Texan.
school. Yeah.
Yeah. He seemed like he gave off the poor man vibes. Like, yes, he's paying us 5 gold a day, but he gave off the vibe of like, ooh, this might be the last 5 gold I've got. He did not seem like he had a ton of money. That's just another thought.
Yeah, Clive.
Calliope, I would like to go back to Nuthunaol's to find out how to make the cure or possible cure.
We should wait and find out if it works first.
Well, isn't that part of tomorrow? Like he's gonna try out the mixture tomorrow
Yeah.
on someone.
I mean, definitely more than one person, if it works, should know how to make the formula, but I don't think anyone in this room, minus a studious envy, would be able to conjure that shit up with all those glass bottles and tubes and craziness.
That's fair. But I still think we should have. I mean, it feels like a good idea because if it does work, he's going to become very. It's something that we should know how to make. Period.
He needs to be protected too. Yeah. He needs to be protected, hidden, and people are going to use him like a puppet if it works. Even if he doesn't want it to be like that, they are going to play him like a fiddle.
I wonder if there's a way for him to have a pin distributor.
A what?
Yeah. Like
Like,
my
let's
uncle
say
want. Oh.
if I were to assume that I had a cure for this thing, but didn't tell anyone where I got my concoctions from. I mean, all eyes would be on me more than they already currently are, but it would alleviate immediate eyes on Nuthunaol.
But you'd be willing to take the pressure of that?
I mean, right
But then
now
we would know.
we have a lot of pressure on us anyway.
And then we would know who it is that's trying to reduce the amount of the cure that makes it out.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, and I'll stay by your side.
Oh, that's very
But
good.
I'm crazy for going to try and like look into the dungeons. Yeah, okay, dude. Putting a big old target on your back. But yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good one.
Speaking of targets on back, I think I have a target on my back.
I would like to
Best
ask you-
transition ever.
Perfect segue, homie.
I was going
Whatever
to ask
do
you
you
about
mean?
that. I cast the detect magic, and you, my friend, are glowing.
Yes, I went to Nuthunaol to speak about that. Apparently, there are hunters out there that potentially hunt down people that might be different as I am. Not exactly who would be hunting me, or what they look like, or when it could happen, but Nuthunaol expressed that they probably are very skilled at the hunt to well, when we were back in the woods camping with the horses and Buck, they definitely were there.
Oh.
But someone would have to be very proficient in knowing their capabilities to be so crouse with making their appearance known.
What?
Hunters like I go out in the forest and I find a deer and I kill it, or hunters like we do this for money and we're taking you back dead or alive.
Possibly both, if I was the deer in the first example.
You are the deer.
Wait, what do you mean by you? Like, not what you are, but specifically you?
Yes. So I left my village, not because I had any real intent of leaving my village. I left my village because for the longest that I can remember, there's been a tradition of sorts of individuals afflicted with something that isn't necessarily good. That's the easiest way I can say it without going into details that I don't really know. And rather than finding out from my village that I was afflicted and knowing for certain, I decided to leave and put my destiny in my own hands, essentially.
What does this affliction in your village look like?
I guess the easiest comparable would be for those that are exposed, possibly madness over extended period of time. Seeing things, hearing things that aren't there.
Oh.
And what are they doing to the people who have the madness in your hometown?
Generally, they're kind of shunned for the most part. It's bad omens to be around those who are of that type.
What is the rest of the part they're doing to people?
I mean, usually those who don't last for very long due to the fact that the insanity generally gets them, but
So would these hunters hunt you down to like kill all those afflicted to like not have it spread, or is there some like I don't know trait they want to harvest from you or something?
well, as Vesta was saying, the thing that you saw is a mark, and I've been marked by whoever this hunter or whoever this hunter represents as a whole. But I don't remember getting a mark.
Are you entirely sure that it's even connected to where you're from? Or if it's something else?
I've remembered seeing things when I was very little. But it's one of those things that you just don't talk about because then it's real.
No, I mean, are you sure that the reason you're marked and being hunted is because of this madness? Or that you've been marked for something else? Or you're sure that's the reason you're being hunted? Whether or not you have been sick with madness?
It could be a different reasoning.
Is it because you left?
Or because you're here now and we got ourselves in a lot of fucking shit?
Well, no, because it was definitely there before we got ourselves into the predicament that we are currently.
Oh, okay.
I sensed it the night we were talking to Lord Havish for the first, at the dinner. But it could be something else entirely, and I could be hunted for something else entirely, which is another unsettling thing. But...
And it doesn't block any of your abilities?
No.
Can I see it? If you don't mind?
It's hidden for the most part. I mean, unless you want to start ripping puffs of hair out.
You said it's a rune?
Sort of.
Because do you know what
magical presence?
Do you know what the shape looks like?
I remember him, Nuthunaol, tracing it on my neck.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
top
give
of
him
shoulders.
a lewd. Well, actually, Vesta could probably draw it better if she can see it.
Oh, yes, I can draw it. That's a good idea.
And can I do an Arcana
We were
check?
trying to do the
Trace
Oh,
it.
I love that
telepro
game. It's the best. Aw, brought us way back.
Draw what you feel like
Ooh, it's a tree.
Go ahead and give me that Arcana check.
Thank you. New dice. Come on, dice. Oh, natural 1. Shit.
Guidance. No.
Luck. There's a luck in the chat.
There is a luck and inspo.
I can save it for someone else.
No, just use it.
Go for
Use it.
Okay, I'm gonna use it. 1.
No way.
Wow.
No.
God.
Wow.
Jeez. Hey, I can't see that. I don't know. I got something in my eye. I don't know. Okay.
It is
Well, like
late.
you
Like
do.
you poke yourself in your eye with your pencil.
You just don't really understand the instruction, and you're trying to see it without getting. So without magic, you could actually potentially see it, but you have to get under the fur, and you're just being a little bit too nice to really get through it enough to see anything. You just kind of give up, feeling that you can't see it. And then, but then, yeah. So Vesta draws it out for you, and you looking at it. Golly, even Even 2 1s?
Dude. Vesta, it must be because I'm so fucking tired. Does this ring a bell with you?
I don't know. Does it?
Give me an Arcana check.
I can do that.
There's still inspo. So you
There
have
is still
D6.
inspo,
You want to
yes.
add it?
Oh, Arcana?
If it helps any, it might have Fey origin.
Yeah.
That does nothing for me. I am a druid with no use. In the Fae. In the Fae.
In the Fae.
Should I use the inspo?
It's your choice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you rolled,
Yeah.
but if you think it'll help.
Is it a D8?
6.
D6.
I always ask if it's a D8 just in the hopes that it will be. Oh my god.
Oh, good.
It is a 24.
Ooh,
Hell yeah,
boy.
thank you, existential
Boy.
nerd. Yeah.
What languages do you speak?
Common, Druidic, Elvish, and Primordial.
Okay. So you kind of, now that you've traced it out, you kind of are able to like put it at a distance. And you get, the Arcana check tells you something specific. One, that this runic design has a lot of detail to it. Way more than would be needed for not just like low level runic enchantments and stuff, but like pretty much all runic enchantments. Like most of the runes you use for runic enchantments, they have basic design patterns, but there's not a lot of fluff to it. They're just very simple if you know the design. This has a lot of fluff that makes it unique. And so potentially what comes to your head immediately is this rune was designed to be specific enough for maybe targeting, for looking for an object or person, being able to visualize this rune. It's been given enough detail to be pretty specific. As for what the rune is, the main feature in the middle of the rune seems to be a character or letter in a language that you don't quite know, but it's got a mixture of like druidic features and elvish features. And her saying Fae, you just don't know quite, but it could very well be some kind of Fae symbol or letter or some kind of value to a Fae speaker. Peppers, hey.
Envy, I have 2 questions for you. 3 questions. 1. You are healing person, yes?
Yes.
Do you have God that you get healing from?
Essentially, but not particularly.
Interesting. 2. Have you been to the Feywild?
Ooh.
That I know of.
So that's a maybe.
And 3.
Hold it. Keep it. Hold it. Are you okay? Oh no.
Oh no!
Spit.
I hate when that happens. I hate doing it in public places.
Yeah. And 3. Have you the village that you left, your village, what kind of vibe did they have?
We were kind of close to the coast.
Were you like happy-go-lucky people who just loved the planet and you wanted to do fun things and live in the trees and the ocean, or were you like, hey, let's cut down these trees and build a city, and like, were there elves?
Definitely more the first part, but then also adding in, existential dread of people being afflicted by something.
Okay. So, what I can tell is that this rune, I can't read it because it's in a language I don't understand, but it very much has a druid vibe. It's got some elvish things going on. It's very confusing and it's very intricate and it's very pretty. But I don't know if you want to exchange pretty for impending death.
Is it in Sylvan?
I don't know. I can't read Sylvan.
But you did draw it out.
Oh yeah, here. Is it in Sylvan?
Actually, let me check something.
Now you know what the ruin is.
To be perfectly honest, Vesta probably didn't draw it out on paper. She probably used her cantrip to like etch it into the top of the table, and it's now burned on the top of the table. You're welcome.
I like it.
Just holding up the table.
It is, in fact, Sylvan, yes.
Oh. What does it say?
What does it say? As I read it.
What does the fox say? I've been waiting all day to make that joke.
It is a symbol that represents kind of it's really interesting. It's a mixture. It's got kind of a duality to it. In some context, it means champion. In some context, it means love, but not like romantic love, like sibling love, like favorite.
Well, that doesn't. Oh, sorry, he didn't say that out loud. Shut up, Josie.
Champion, love, like sibling or paternal love.
But who would love you?
I know.
I didn't mean that way.
But wait, I thought the mark was basically like you've been cursed, someone's hunting you, they want to kill you, but then they mark it with, but I love you and you're a champion. That just feels very conflicting.
Yes.
You're sure that's what the Nuthunaol like was? We're sure that's right.
I mean, that was the general vibe I was getting.
Oh no, just that seems very strange.
Unless
I'm gonna mark you with dread and death, but I like you.
Unless it's champion status, loved favorite status for whoever kills the target in particular. Like it's something to acquire.
Genius.
Like they rip your flesh off and it's like, oh yeah.
Or they cut your head off.
Or, you know, not ripping the flesh off would be nice.
No, I'm saying, of course.
Give them the two options.
That's what's not gonna happen, okay? Just making sure you know that. Well, while you guys were looking at it,
promises like that.
does it have anything to do with, does anybody know if it's got anything to do with Sylvana?
Who's that?
She's that one, she's the sister of Erika, and she's the one that had that shrine up in the forest that Tristy was meant to defile.
Would I know anything about? Did I pay attention in deity class when I went growing up?
Yeah, I would say that you would have known as Sylvanas as a major deity within the realm, within the Elysium and the proximity of Elysium and the good gods and all of that. Yeah, you've heard of Sylvanas. I believe you had heard already from someone else describe that Shar is the sister of Sylvanas, and they are hated enemies.
Oh, Shar is, not Varaka.
Not Varaka, but Shar.
I was like,
is.
For some reason, I wrote that down wrong in my notes, and I was like, we should fear her. Got it. Okay, so Shar is the sister of Sylvana. Got it. I will update my notes. I don't know. It was just we were in the Fey Forest and Sylvana, and I don't know. I'm not like super up with my religion, but just an idea.
Religionary.
But one other quick question, Envy. How long ago how long have people in your village begun to go mad? Is it like recent, or is it like a long time?
Long time, generations.
Okay.
Every year, someone is essentially afflicted, and then by time people typically find out, it's generally too late for them.
Is it
if they start to show signs?
Is it a curse?
Possibly.
And you have a favored one. Do you think that thing protects you from the madness?
Oh, I have a.
No, I mean, I think of it as bad. So, essentially, as long as I do good things, then I'll be fine.
Oh. So you feel like. Okay. Is that why you're doing good things?
That was my question too, baby.
Perhaps. I mean, I want to do good things.
Because otherwise.
You're going to turn into a crazy person?
Well, no, because if I don't do good things, then who else is going to do them?
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank
Do you get powers from? I have questions.
Yeah, I was hoping this conversation would get us to more answers overall, but it just never seems to happen. More questions.
If only one person gets sick a year, that is not an illness. That is a curse. Are you the person who's supposed to break curse? Are you actually a warlock?
The favored champion.
What's a warlock?
Do you get
Insight.
Do you get your powers from somebody? How do you get your powers from? Oh, because you're never mind. You are spelled double.
Some of it I learned, and then
shut down.
Some of it I was born with, I would say.
I forgot that you were also a sorcerer. That was the missing link in my poor little brain. I was so excited. I was like, I figured it out. You're not actually a cleric. You've been a warlock this entire time, and you've been fucking with us. And then I remember sorcery points.
Wait, I don't know how I almost forgot this juicy detail. So you, pointing to Lupin and Envy, are both cursed?
Yeah.
Potentially
That's
cursed.
a little...
Gosh, Shay, you can't just say people are cursed.
Oh, good. Clip.
2 out of 5. That ain't bad.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds of that, you guys? That feels weird.
Are you cursed?
Maybe the
With charisma and charm, yes.
I don't know. You had funky laugh coming out of you, and during battle, you stopped functioning.
Okay, that was weird. That was weird.
So
Do I have a mark? Does anybody? You did the cast magic thing, right? I don't have any markings, no runes.
I don't think so, but that doesn't mean you're not cursed.
I don't think I'm cursed.
Maybe you're all cursed.
Tell me about it.
See?
But really, like, you guys are both cursed.
It does seem that way, yes.
Possibly.
Muted, I think. He said something while
I
lagging.
said potentially.
Ah.
We gotta, keep the claws out there.
Wow.
I mean, what do you guys say? Just, what if we just start looking into who cursed both of you, figure that out, and let this city figure itself out? I mean, oh, just another idea. I mean, I don't know, like,
I mean, I'm more worried
if
about
I
the
was
hunters.
cursed, that would be priority for me, but I'm just saying.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
The more priority for me would be whoever's trying to maybe off my head or something like that. That kind of ranks slightly higher than why it is that my head is being offed.
Envy, do you want to sleep in my room tonight?
Oh!
So that's
That
Listen,
was, yeah, I mean,
if Hunter was able to get up close to you in the middle of a forest and you didn't realize it, who's to say Hunter cannot get into this area? This
Homestead.
Vesta, I mean, I'm no expert, but I think he likes bugs.
I'm absolutely not interested. I'm just offering up protection because it's better to sleep in groups than it is by yourself. But that's fine. I have to go to bed now because I have meeting with Dragon in the morning.
I guess she doesn't give a fuck about you, Lubin.
He doesn't have a
Yeah,
hunter after him
fair.
immediately.
But he's cursed.
Yeah, but he's not got a hunter after him that wants to chop off his head.
What if he does, though?
Well, then we can all sleep together in the bunk beds.
Headless?
Yes.
Handless?
yeah.
What?
We could
No,
move all of our
headless.
beds into one room.
The room Lupin's in has enough beds
It
for all of us.
does, yeah, it has, yeah.
So
But I
then
hear
let's
Lupin
sleep
making
in
a lot
here.
of noise in there all the time. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you just
probably
leave that
he
door
won't be
closed for
doing
now.
that. He probably won't be doing that if we're all in there.
That
Hopefully.
won't stop
You
him.
wake up in the middle of the night.
Oh, that's nightmares.
oh.
Speaking of sleep, what are we gonna do after we sleep and in the morning?
I think we decide over breakfast, but for now, bedtime.
Okay, but guys, we gotta start making decisions. We gotta decide who we can trust at least enough to make an allegiance with. We have to start picking sides. We can't just keep.
How about this? I will prepare Zone of Truth in the morning, because I did not do it today, even though I probably should have. And then we can acquire some people's, ask them some questions. Why am I talking like Vesta?
You're cursed, my friend.
Welcome.
Welcome to the dark side.
And see if anyone pings.
I like that idea. I already told you we can trust the general. So
The Mandy, thank you for
Red
the raid.
Dragon
Welcome
told you
in.
that?
We can trust him?
yes.
I got the feeling that we can trust the boss.
A cat. You want to trust a cat.
Just saying, I read his thoughts.
Cats are notoriously terrible to trust.
He
You want to trust
purred.
someone, you
He
trust
was
a
so
dog.
cute. Like, oh, he was so
No.
cute.
Cats will fuck you over every
But-
time and knock your glasses off the table.
Okay, you know.
Vesta,
No.
do you trust the dragon?
Kinda, yeah. Let's be honest. I trust nobody,
As you should. Didn't.
but the dragon was very open with me. I think as far as I could tell, was very open with me, and they were very upfront with the information that they were providing, and very upfront when I asked questions. And I mean, they seem to give me more information than anyone else in this place. So I trust them for now.
I get good vibes from the boss. And I get good vibes off of Zarok.
Plus, I don't want to fight dragon later on, you know?
Practical.
It does seem like a poor choice to have to do. Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, Zone of Truth, good idea. I also been working on some other magical, things that I'm kind of new at, and I do have one where I can communicate with people that don't have to be around me. I can only do it so much before I have to, take a break, but if we wanted to talk to somebody, ask somebody, I mean, distance isn't an issue, is my point. Just limited conversation is.
Sensible.
And
I mean, we've got a lot of people I'd like to ask some questions, like, what about Fenric? I could ask Fenric some questions. What about Lizzo that got sent underground?
Mhm.
Anybody else got
But-
ideas?
You're saying you want to do that in their head without talking? Just sending words in head?
Yeah, it's a form of sending of information and conversation back and forth.
That would scare them. That would scare me. I wouldn't want that. That'd be creepy.
Telepathically in her head, just across the room, I'll go, it's all good. It's safe.
That's not the point. Nobody, but also actually I have my oh, never mind. Yeah, so yeah, that's not the point. That's disorienting. It's scaring nobody. You were just going to pop into their head and ask them a question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
I wouldn't answer if I heard a voice talking to me in my head and I didn't. I'm just saying, try it if you want, but that's traumatizing.
I mean, what do we have to lose? So if there's anybody you guys think we can talk about it too, because that's something I can do now.
Real quick, thank you, Spectre Faye, for the follow. And for those new people from the raid, if you enter !critical in the chat, you can enter our giveaway that we will do at the end of the stream.
Exclamation critical!
30 minutes or so.
Get some dope dice!
Critical.
Shay, when you transform into people and you think thoughts, do they sound like Shay thoughts or do they sound like the person that you transformed you to thoughts?
Oh no, it's totally me. It's all just visual. And yeah.
I mean, you
So
could.
I don't become the person. I'm still me. I just look and sound and like that person.
So then you're saying thoughts into their head with their own voice?
Two different cool things I can do. Totally different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that rather than a message going to Fenric from you, because I don't know if he knows who you are, if you looked like someone else and you sent the message, then it at least would be a familiar voice.
Okay, now you just touched on something that I've never thought about, because you know me. I love being somebody else.
Feeding the shade.
And I love being deceptive. I never thought about using sending, pretending to be somebody I'm not.
It's like,
and if it would work or not.
Prank call.
It's not the intent
it's not
that
like,
I was going for.
Do they have caller ID?
It's too late. You can't take it back.
Caller ID, yeah.
I mean,
look what you did.
If I say,
just don't turn your camera
what you
off.
made me do.
Just don't turn your camera off, and it won't ever say your display name. So,
I mean, you might be onto something, my friend.
I'm
That's
gonna go to bed before I
great
give
question.
Shay any more.
I'm gonna stay up all night now
worse,
because
I end up
can't.
dead.
Before we go to bed, if I had the ability, hypothetically, to ask one question out into the universe, and get an answer. What question do we want to ask?
Wow, that was oddly
Yeah.
specific for something so hypothetical.
So obvious. So obvious.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Probably who did what they did to the Lost.
Who's the perpetrator of the attack on?
Or
yeah.
who's controlling the illithid
That.
in this city?
But yes.
Because that's who would also be the
And-
one who did the attack.
Yes.
Theoretically. That looks like it.
I can see Colin's doing the math to figure out why I'm asking this.
No, I've just pulled up D&D Beyond because I know I'm going to be searching the name of a spell that you're about to use.
Yeah.
What's the name of the spell? I know.
Divination. She's gonna ritually cast it before she goes to bed.
Sing it, girl. Sing it, yeah.
Is Envy the only one that didn't eat today and is just like eating grapes and bread?
Yeah, you've just been eating the finger
Bro.
food in the lounge.
Bro.
Envy.
Mhm.
He ate. He just didn't eat food.
Mic drop.
Wow. That's where he actually was last week, folks.
Let me drop my pencil.
Yeah.
Pencil drop. Oh my god, that's funny.
If you
Divination.
cast spell 2 or more times before it should... Okay.
I'm only
Short
casting it
phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen.
Yeah.
Woo! As if a DM doesn't already have enough to do to come with on-the-spot cryptic rhymes or short phrases. But hit me with it. What is your question
Well-
as you ritualistically... And
I'm gonna make it a little bit easier on you because I remember in campaign 1 in Critical Role, it was the wind. No, campaign 2 where she would ask questions and the wind would like blow. It was Keyleth would ask questions and the wind would blow a certain way. The way that it's gonna be cast by Vesta, Vesta's gonna do her little incense and have her little fire because that is very much her thing.
perfect.
And so then the fire can flicker and give answers instead if you want to do it that way.
I do.
I had already
sure.
thought that out.
Sure. Okay, so
How about the
what,
aesthetic, baby?
what is the question?
It doesn't have to be a yes or no question, right? It can be any question.
I mean, that's the... Single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. So it doesn't have to be yes or no. No.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna hold the fire and ritually cast this and ask. God, I'm so nervous. Who is controlling the illithid that were used on the attack on the keep?
Man. Okay. Give me a D100 roll.
Oh, call it. Roll good. Roll terribly.
That's where Vesta combusts right here.
I know. This is what I'm afraid of. That's
That girl is on fire.
sorry. Good dice. Okay, I'm using my critical dice. They've never steered me wrong. 80?
Okay. You finish the ritual, and you guys watch as like she had drawn some runes like on the floor. She kind of is sitting cross-legged in the middle of the lounge, not middle, but like where she can fit. She's drawn
Definitely in your way.
and she's sitting there staring at the fire in her hands, and she's kind of like chanting in Druidic as part of this ritual. And as she sounds the last syllable of the chant, you watch her like eyes kind of stop moving around, her lips stop moving as she's talking, and you see her eyes kind of they don't change, but they just look lost for a second. Vesta,
God.
your head is just in the fire. It's like your focus has just gotten closer and closer and closer into this flame to where you're just staring at this one point of flame, and you start to see an outline. It's hard to figure out exactly what it is, but it looks large. It looks mechanical and concentric, circles and concentric patterns with these weird, intricate designs on it. And you hear a voice familiar to you say, "Sometimes things are left behind." And that's what you get.
Okay, I'm going to ask a clarifying question. Is that the voice that I generally hear upon... Okay, just wanted to make sure I wasn't confusing it with a different NPC.
Nope.
Left behind. Were those concentric circles similar to the designs that were on that drill that came out of the ground?
There are similarities to the symmetric of these circles. Yes, there is some kind of association there with those designs. But you definitely saw it was a different material and it was much larger. Seemingly gold-plated almost. Shiny, metal, expensive, fancy, intricate.
Does that ring a bell on anything that I've seen? Anything similar? Anything?
Give me an investigation check.
Investigation. Ooh. Please
Use
have
our
it.
luck and inspo.
They're both gone.
They're both gone.
Oh no!
I mean,
Guidance!
I could put it in chat right now, but that feels like cheating.
Wait,
You
can't you
can.
guidance yourself?
You can. You just have to do it
I
before
can
you
guidance
roll.
myself.
Yeah, you can.
I feel like she would have, right?
Guidance.
Sure.
This is like she's actively trying to do this right.
Yes.
16.
Okay.
16. Let me look up something real quick. I gotta remember where I put it. I gotta remember where I put it.
Vesta will tell you guys everything. Oh my god, I saw this thing and it was gold and it had circles and it was shiny.
Black?
I don't...
Was it like, was your vision just really up close of it maybe? Or was it actually itself giant?
I'm going to be super honest, I've never done this spell before, and so I don't entirely know how it works.
Could it have been a crest? Like a house, baronage crest or design, like on a...
It felt very large.
Wait a sec. I have a quick question. Vesta, were you there for the battle with the Yutyugs? In the cave?
Oh,
No.
Then no. Nothing.
I describe it in great detail.
Can she draw it for us? Like she drew the rune?
Yeah, obviously she has paper and pencil because she's been drawing. You can kind of draw
poor
to your
table.
best.
Yeah, that table's gonna damage.
Hey, we don't know how many more days we'll be in this place.
I'm going to draw this one on a piece of paper because it feels a little more important that we keep it a little more secret than the giant rune that's on Envy's back. Don't know why.
Sorry, Envy. He's like, that's on brand. That's on
So yeah, as described, concentric rings, several in a row, with some kind of symbols on like the symbols are much more guesstimated, but they're odd and geometric, and that's what she draws.
Can I do a history check to see if I recall this symbol, or?
I would say, give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence.
Anyone else that wants to try to pin the dots together, give me an intelligence check.
So just a roll plus my intelligence modifier?
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Damn it.
Okay. So that's a total of 4.
That's
Cool.
a 6.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
This
And
isn't Calliope's wheelhouse anyway.
Envy.
This makes sense, I think, because if I believe Lupin was the one that found this, this piece of like seemingly paper that had something scribbled out, like an engraving, kind of like taking a negative on an engraving.
Oh, yeah.
From the tiefling body you found in the cave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is some
Okay.
similar
Just intelligence?
attributes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
19 plus 2.
Yeah,
Nice.
so you draw the same conclusions. You recollect seeing that little scrap that they pulled from that body and kind of making connections that this looks kind of similar. If you're on roll 20, I can show everyone on roll 20.
Doesn't
Have
that
it
look
pulled
like the symbol on the tiefling
It
that
does seem that way.
Oh, yeah, you guys. What the hell?
left at the night? I really need to ask Buck what he does with the bodies after we keep dropping them off at the Night's Watch, because he told us not to do that anymore. But
Yeah, it's kind of morose. Get it?
Come on.
Sorry, I'm making notes. I'm slow.
Show us on dude.
I know Vesta said the thing about
On roll 20?
Roll 20.
what it looks like, and she drew it. But
Mm.
did she tell us the message that she got from the fire?
And then I heard a voice and it said sometimes things are better left behind.
Wait, wasn't there something about
Oh.
that was the answer to the question?
We should have never moved the body.
But that poor body was like
Yeah.
barely intact, if I
In
remember
pieces.
correctly.
Yeah. We definitely defiled it and did not keep it. We did not
It was
leave it
already
behind.
defiled.
Some things should be left behind. Some things. That's cryptic as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It actually says in the spell description.
Yeah, it says to be
Cryptic.
Nicely done. More
But-
puzzle pieces that don't fit yet.
But here's that was not an answer that I was hoping for, but you found Tiefling in a tunnel
Mm-hmm.
and mind flayers are in dungeon.
Dead. And it was creating a new entranceway. We tried to go in there and we were forced out. We were told, you guys made us leave. I wanted to stay and keep looking.
What? Why?
Why? There was like a new tunnel. And there was more to it. We just couldn't get to it. And everyone was starting to act really weird.
Yeah, because we should have just left. Shit.
If you went back to that tunnel now, would we find evidence that it was used for the attack?
Oh.
We have to go back there?
Come
Well,
on.
like we don't have to go back there.
Don't be too scared. Bring Buck back to protect you.
Not scared.
I know you're not scared. You're not even afraid that these like hunters trying to like hunt you down. You're so blasé about it. I don't know how you're doing it, dude. You are brave. Very brave. Okay, anybody want to have any more questions? Because
No, I think it's time to sleep.
I know, but I could cast sending before I go to sleep.
Oh, well, then cast sending to.
Or maybe I can't. Colin, are you one of the DMs that allows... It's a 3rd level spell. And it's only a 3rd level spell. But I have a 4th level spell slot open.
No, you totally can do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool.
That's how it works.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually pop up,
Get
so
5 more words.
Oh, how I'd use them.
Imagine.
Mhm.
Oh.
So before I go to bed, I mean,
use
it's
them.
what's the harm?
That was
I could-
good.
Say it again, huh?
Oh, how I'd use them.
Good job.
I didn't do it. You did.
Never when I'm actually casting the spell, though, right? I'm just saying, before we go to bed, I mean, I kind of want to talk to somebody that we...
Shay, look
What
at
up?
me.
Yeah.
Look
yeah.
at me. Are you looking? Are you looking into my eyes?
I'm simultaneously webcam and... Where do you want me to look? Looking at the
Who do you
webcam.
want to talk to? I feel like you're trying to get permission from us, and you should just go with your instincts.
Who do...
Oh, wait. As long as you're
Somebody-
not transforming into someone being deceptive about it.
Oh, I could try that too. I could totally try that. What if I message Fenric as Buck?
Or
That too.
as Lord Avish. Upset that he's missed the meeting. No, I'm joking.
But who would he be more honest with
Well,
about why he left?
I'm not saying where Buck's position was, but
You've done that like 3 times tonight.
I know, but
yeah.
tell us. Tell us. I want to know.
Oh, damn.
Fenric had somebody on the inside he was talking to, and that's why before he left,
Huh?
Fenric had someone in the gifts that he was talking to, one of Lord Havish's people
Right.
that he was talking to before he left.
Who?
We don't know.
But wait, what's the aha? Is it Buck?
The aha is, holy shit, we need to figure out who he was talking to. It's not Buck. Buck's not a gift.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
Yeah, we gotta figure out who he was talking to.
where's
That
this
person
info
probably has
from?
information.
It's from an early conversation. I have those notes somewhere too.
Oh,
It's from when I first came back and we were
Yeah.
talking to Buck, and he was telling us about how the orcs left, how Fenric left. So for some reason I wrote down Saba likes to swim.
Probably from the flirting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's got to
remember.
dive right in, baby.
Like that. Dive right in.
Like
Yes. Mhm.
Do y'all remember what, well, aside from you, Vesta, sorry, what Fenric said before he ran out of the cave?
he said, retreat.
But he said something else.
Is it like something's not right, or is it like
This
Calliope
knows.
wasn't close enough to hear. She was up front, raging.
Fenric was up there.
I mean-
Fenric was supposed to be, and then he skirt-tailed.
No, he was hiding, like in the back seas, from what I recall.
Or I could contact Lisso. Ask her if she's found anything down there yet.
is anyone concerned that like we haven't heard from her in like a couple of weeks, or I guess a week now?
She was
possibly?
given 3 weeks worth of rations. It's in my
Mm.
notes. So she wasn't supposed to come back for at least 3 weeks, and it's only been a week. I kind of want to talk to Fenric, though. But who would he talk to? Who would he answer to? Who would he be honest with? And what would I ask him? Why did you really leave, motherfucker?
Just like that.
Just... Motherfucker is one word.
Yes. Multisyllabic.
Are you doing anything?
I'm gonna do it. Last question. Anybody want to give me any ideas before I do it?
When was the last time any of us checked in on Swinda to see what kind of information she could give us?
I both want to trust her, but think it's really stupid to trust her. I can't decide.
I think a zone of truth would be really fun.
Ooh, she's the first one we should try it on, Envy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think she knows a lot.
Anyway.
In the morning.
Circle of Truth on Swinda in the morning.
Yeah.
Don't they know when you cast that, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
So
I
we're
mean,
just,
I would let her know.
so I'm just saying for other future people, that's gonna be interesting.
Well,
No,
and
you
then if
just
she's
cast
willing
it.
to,
And
yeah,
if they don't, then that's suspicious in and of itself.
yeah, and if she's into it, then she's on our side, and we can trust her, and we can say, "Hey, you secretary girl who knows everything, tell us what you know. Who on the inside?"
This is perfect, Envy, because as soon as somebody doesn't want to be truthful in the zone of truth,
Truthable.
I will probe their thoughts and go deep.
It's like a double whammy, except I can't do it that much.
Low level, baby. Okay. Am I talking to Fenric as Shay?
Do it!
Or am I gonna pretend I'm Buck?
No, don't pretend you're Buck. A, that would be very weird. And then B...
I just want to see if I can be deceptive, but okay, not this time.
What?
Okay.
He obviously left for a reason. I think that he might trust you more if you're honest with why you're reaching out.
That's what I'm thinking too. That's actually what I'm thinking too. Okay. Shay's gonna sit down and take this thought opposite Vesta was when she did divination. Like totally mirroring her body and everything just for the cause.
Giggles.
Yeah.
She'll even like make her outfit look like a purple shade of whatever Vesta's wearing. And she will cast.
That bitch.
Copying is the highest form of flattery. Okay?
That's what my
Shay
when I was
said that many
younger-
times.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you say to your daughter when she has a younger sibling who won't stop copying her and it's driving her insane. It's not flattery. It's
And
just
with Vesta
annoying.
doing that, I'm going to then look like Vesta just for that annoyance.
So it's
changed.
Vesta sending.
Great. Vesta's gonna turn into a cat.
Ooh, that would look nice next to the boss. Okay, you're distracting me, and I cast sending. Fenric.
You have to
Is the
sound
boss
like,
a
you have to sound
human
like,
transformed into a cat?
you have to put on your best Vesta accent.
25 words.
Yeah.
Okay, 25 words.
Okay.
It is. Wait. Oh,
Okay, somebody helping me? Okay.
Mhm.
you've got
think we're
25
all
words
helping you.
total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for myself so I can say I'm tracked. Sorry for the intrusion. It's Shay. Why did you leave? Really? Don't know who to trust? Do you know more? Please help. Seriously. Help.
Us.
Thanks.
I didn't know what to do.
What if he was like asleep and like he couldn't respond?
Oh my god. Are you Jester asking if he's pooping?
Hey, if I don't get a response, he's dead.
Or maybe you just talk to him in sleep time.
Maybe.
Okay,
Are you pooping?
I want Colin to... Colin?
I know. I'm thinking.
Okay, sorry. No, we'll give Colin a moment.
He responds after a decent enough pause. He says, "You wouldn't understand. Trust Buck Buck. I'll be back sometime."
Okay, I was waiting if he was going to say any more. And then still as Vesta, I talked to Fenric, and no, he was not sleeping. Although he did the, the very cliche, blah, blah, you do not understand.
That was so French.
Yeah.
You do not understand.
Oui,
Como
oui.
se va?
You do not, you don't understand. You don't understand. I don't know how to do it. I don't know. But he did say to trust Buck Buck and that he'd be back soon. That was it. And then she'll drop Vesta's form back to Shay's form.
Vista staying as a cat.
All right. Well, that was a. Do
Not dead.
understand. Yeah, that's why I messaged you, Fenric. I'm trying to understand. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, we should go to sleep for sure.
Anything else, or is the night coming to a close?
Are we all gonna sleep in Lupin's room?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
And
Hats off.
Can we put our beds together, like all together? So it's like little 4-poster beds, and they're all together. So we're all like one giant extended headboard. And
Vesta
Is
was
there any room
openly
we have to-
mocked for offering protection to Envy, so she's gonna pad off into her own room and go sleep on her bed, curled up as a cat.
No.
what color is your cat form?
I didn't.
Orange.
I didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't think our. I thought we were openly mocking. I didn't know our characters did.
Too late. Vesta took it personally.
All right.
So everyone finds a place to sleep.
Yeah.
You each find rest, realizing as you lay down, man, you've been putting your bodies through the ringer. Like you've been up on foot, walking around, asking questions, fighting. The weight of y'all's activities over the past couple days are really, only really when you stop moving do you realize, gosh, you've been just moving all day. And sleep finds you, all of you. No special dreams or anything tonight. Who would be the first one awake?
I feel like Vesta is a very early riser.
Okay. And I know Lupin is, but usually he finds a spot to do his own little workout, right?
Make loud noises
Calliope's
in his room.
yes.
Calliope's
Yes.
usually an early-ish riser, but she's sleeping off all the damage,
Yes.
so
Oh,
she's
You know what?
not the first one.
Sorry. Did not mean to talk over you. Canonically, last time Vesta was the last person to wake up, so I take
Gotcha.
it back. She's
Shay
still
was
asleep.
later too. I
I'm
believe,
not.
but-
Yeah, I kind of like sleeping, but I know, like, I'm kind of antsy for today, so I don't think I'd be the last riser. So comfortable time, not wee hours of the morning, right?
I'm gonna say then Calliope. You
Okay.
kind of notice that you are the first one up in the morning. You wake up and you stretch off you can tell, deep sleep, deep healing sleep that you so needed. You step out into the common room to see someone that you recognize, though you get the smell of a cleansing herbal bath. You see immediately that her hair, black, it was silver kind of sheen, is back. She's wearing kind of a revealing tank top and kind of these short kind of underwear type bottoms spread out on the couch, stuffing her face. Lisso is in your common room this morning, seemingly cleaned up, relaxed out on the couch, waiting for one of you to wake up.
Oh shit.
Everybody wake up, we're here. No.
So
And-
glad I didn't waste my sending on that bitch.
That's where we are going to end the episode for this evening. Exclamation critical in the chat will get you entered into our critical dice giveaway of the evening. Give you a couple seconds, moments to do that. Again, we are not here this next week. This next week will be our break for April, but we will be back the week after. But if you are looking for something to watch Wednesday night, I've been told that the charity one-shot that I did, when was that? Probably like a month ago now, 2 month and a half, 2 months, March. I think it was March-ish. With some people playing one of my kids' modules. It was a lot of fun. That'll be up on YouTube. Remember, more subs on YouTube. We're getting close to that 1K mark, and when we do, we're going to do a big, big giveaway. As always, we will find somewhere for you guys to keep going to watch great D&D for the evening. We'll do that here in a minute, but let's go ahead and do our giveaway.
Give it away, give it away, give it away
Give it
now.
away. Give it away now. Boom. Hippie CS Go.
Woo!
Nice.
Welcome in.
Ooh,
Congratulations.
Hey, Hippie, you won.
You find me on our Discord. Winner, right? That's the command. Winner. Chicken dinner.
Cisco. Hippie Cisco.
Hippie Cis. No.
Aw, no way.
Hippie
Yes way.
CS Go.
You
Yes
are a
way.
winner. You are.
No way, brah. Yes, totally.
Cha.
Find me, Colin FFRPG, on our Discord. I will get you information, get those dice out to you soonish. CS:GO is a game. Yeah, I know. I used to play a lot of CS:GO. Me and John. Oh gosh, the LAN parties.
CS2 is coming out, or CS:GO 2 is coming out. It's been years, but yeah, it's coming out.
I'd do it.
That's the best when like the old like Die Hard game comes out with like a that's so fun.
All right. I'm gonna find someone first to raid, but you guys have a good rest of your night.
Yes,
We'll miss
thank
you next week, but we'll be back soon, and we are going to keep ramping it up towards this season finale. We hope you're enjoying it. Have a good evening,
Thanks
guys.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Follow us on YouTube.
Bye.